Hi, my name is Michelle and I work for an organisation called Support Staffordshire, and we are supporting Staffordshire County Council with their Supportive Communities training programme. It's a series of training sessions to teach you more about how you can help and support the people you work or live with. So today's session, we're going to talk a little bit about daily living equipment and technology. So we'll talk a bit about what that means and give you lots of examples that you can take away. Just to say, this training course has been written for anybody in our community. So if you're helping a friend or neighbour, if it's a loved one who needs a bit more assistance, if it's someone that you are supporting as a volunteer, or maybe you're a health and social care practitioner who wants to share this information with the people you're working with. There's lots of information that you can take away, learn a bit more about, and use for all sorts of different ways. So, just to point out, today we're going to be talking about daily living equipment and technology. You may also hear the term assistive technology used. There's nothing really wrong with that. We prefer the term daily living equipment because for us that implies it encompasses everything that might help somebody. So we think assistive technology sounds much more like the high cost items. So we'll look at some of those in a bit. But daily living equipment doesn't have to be expensive. It's often readily accessible on the high street. That's just a choice that we've taken for this course. We're going to be talking about lots of different bits of equipment, some of which may be helpful to older people, maybe help people with mental health needs, maybe young people and children. But you can look at all these examples and try them, tailor them for the support the individual that you're working with needs. So what is daily living equipment and technology? Well, daily living equipment refers to any device, system, piece of equipment that can help people stay independent and manage their own health. There's a huge range of things available. So some of them, yes, as we said earlier on, they can be expensive. Those high-tech devices, things like digital hearing aids, alarms or sensors, specialist products, things like motorized scooters, stair lifts. It could also be things that you already have in your home, like smart speakers. So you can maybe tailor those for the person you're supporting by setting reminders, using those in a slightly different way to make them a bit more helpful piece of equipment. But equally, there are lots of low-tech devices available. So you may see some of these in the shops, things like bottle and jar openers, easy reach grabbers, the sorts of things like a litter picker. Those can be really helpful for somebody who's struggling to reach. Long handle shoehorns, eye drop dispensers. So main takeaway from this training is whatever issue that somebody is having, there is probably a gadget out there that can help. Sometimes we just have to get a little bit more creative with some of those things that are in our everyday lives. So where can you get this equipment? Your automatic thought might be that you have to go and buy something specialist, but actually it doesn't have to be that way. There are loads of things that are available on the local high street. So places like Argos, Wilkinson's, your local pharmacy, pound shops will often have things in that may help. Just to say, we're not endorsing those brands when we talk on this course. It just gives you some examples of places that you might be able to go. Yes, there are specialist high street stores that provide equipment, often the more expensive ones, like those power riser chairs, electric scooters. They also have the cheaper, small day-to-day pieces of equipment available. Some of the advantages of these shops is there are often people there who are experts and know all about these things, and they are there to talk to you and guide you through the different products. So it is worth a look as well if you have one of those around you. And of course, there's always our online retailers, places like Amazon. And we're going to look at a few sort of online options a bit later on in this course. A really good place to look for different retailers is on the Staffordshire Connects website. And there are lots of bits of information about places you can purchase equipment on the website. And I'm just going to show that to you now. So if you look here on the Staffordshire Connects website, there is a whole section about equipment and technology listed here about where you can get them and different sorts of things that are available. That's really useful. Okay. So I know we've mentioned this a few times already, but we're going to talk a little bit about the cost of equipment. So as we said, a lot of this equipment doesn't have to be expensive. You know, the most simplest can be as little as £1. Some things might push to about £15, but things like specialist pencil, pen grips you can get, long handle shoehorns you can buy often from pound shops or from places like Clark's might do them. Easy reach grabbers are readily available through places like Argos. And if you look at the Argos catalogue, they still produce that. The Argos catalogue has a whole specialist daily living equipment section within it. Quite often what you'll find is the more high-tech the equipment, the more expensive that equipment will be. And the other thing to bear in mind to consider is that some pieces of equipment will have an ongoing service cost. So if you sign up for a falls pendant, you often have to sign up through a service, and you will have a kind of maintenance and running charge that goes along with that. That's because you are needing that kind of monitoring around that as well. So it's just worth bearing in mind. And there are a few different retailers that offer those, and it's worth shopping around to see which one meets your needs best. So there's a whole range of things out there. There's loads of different things that you can buy, and it can be quite daunting and quite overwhelming knowing what to pick. So there are pages on the Staffordshire County Council website that can give you a bit of help when you are trying to select pieces of equipment. That's called the Happy at Home pages of the Staffordshire County Council website. And I'm going to just talk you through what is on offer through that website now. So if you just bear with me while I find the web page. So if you go on to click through the link in the notes, you will be taken to this page, which is the Daily Living Equipment and Technology page. It gives you a bit of information about what daily living equipment is at the top. And then as you go a bit further down, it will link to that Staffordshire Connects page that we just talked about, and also the community help points, which are places where you can go to find out more information and help. So I won't talk too much about those now, but you can have a good look through those. The main thing on this website that I want to show you is the little house. So this is a brilliant part of the Staffordshire Connects website, because what it will do is it will show you, depending on the sorts of needs that you're looking at getting support for, what is available. So you can click on each room of the house, and it will give you ideas of different things that can help in those circumstances. You can also, there's a list at the bottom. I think this works better on a tablet if you want to click there. But the house will work on a desktop really well. We're going to look today at the bathroom. So if I click on the bathroom, it will take you to a special page about in your bathroom, and it will start to ask you about the help that you need. So if we look at personal care equipment, and I click on that and go view more, it's going to take you to a web page called Living Made Easy. And as we go down, we scroll down the page, it's going to tell you sorts of things that are available. And then it will start to show you some different options. So if we look at this Lotion applicator, if I want to get more information, I can click on that icon. And what it will do is it will tell you roughly what the cost of it is. It will give you some ideas of places you can buy that from, and it will tell you a bit more about the product. Let's get rid of this pop up here. It will give you some examples of where you can buy it from and locate it to the some different locations online. If you are struggling and you don't really know where to start, there's also this Let's Ask Sarah part of the website. So if I click on that, say start here, you may have to select the right area. So we'll just find Staffordshire, because that's our area. It will ask you a series of questions about what the person is having difficulty with. And then it will make suggestions about the things that person needs. So if we click on bathroom and we were to say using a shower, we can start a survey that's going to find out more about what our needs are. And at the end, it will suggest some products to help. So there's some really, really helpful things that you can use if you're working with people or you're looking after a loved one, give you a bit more guidance to help make the right choices for you. Let's get back to our slideshow. So now we've just explained a bit about the Happy at Home pages. Let's look at some examples of some different pieces of equipment to help your thinking. So we're going to start off with a really common one, which is around food preparation. And we're just going to put on screen some pictures of some different equipment that lots of people find helpful. A lot of this stuff is trial and error, so it's really worth just thinking about what that person's needs are and the best things to help them. So the first thing I'm going to put on screen is, this is an example of some specialist foam tubing. You can buy this in lengths and you can cut it to size. And this is designed to help people who are having problems with gripping. So as you can see, you can put this tubing over combs, pencils, toothbrushes. It just gives something a bit more to grip onto and makes it much more easy to use those pieces of equipment. Something a lot of people struggle with is turning small knobs and dials. And what you can do is you can buy a piece of equipment that you can see on screen called a contour knob turner. And the idea is that you can place it over the knob and it gives you good leverage for turning those small and difficult items. So this is a cooker knob, maybe the gas or radiator tap might be just as useful, but they're a handy piece of equipment to have in the home that will just give someone that little bit more independence. So the next piece of equipment I'm going to show you is a high-sided plate with a plate guard on it. That's for if somebody's having problems with their coordination or maybe eating one-handed. It gives them a wall to push food against and reduces spillages. Plate guards can be easily fitted onto a plate. They're often microwave and dishwasher safe as well. So they're something that you can keep nice and hygienically clean. So maybe you've got somebody in your household who has a visual impairment, or maybe they're struggling with their reading. It does take a bit of work to do, but can be really helpful to them is make a talking tin. So these are little lids that you can place on jars or bottles in your home. You can record what they are, they push the button and then it tells them that rather than them having to read the tin. So it does take a bit of preparation, a bit of support for somebody, but that can allow somebody with a visual impairment or a reading difficulty a lot more independence in their home. There's also bottle jar openers, ring pull openers. Is something that even I think people who aren't having difficulty sometimes struggle with, is getting your fingers under that ring pull. This can make a massive difference to somebody, a really simple task, just again allows that independence. So a few more things I'm just going to list on screen for you. And these are things, again, that you may have in your own home. You haven't necessarily thought about how you can use them in this way. So an automatic can opener, a one-touch item that will open tins and jars without you having to twist that dial. Again, if someone's having problems with twisting, that can make life a lot easier. You can buy peelers and graters that have extra grip on them. So if you've got arthritis, again, that might be something that you find really helpful. If you're having problems seeing things, your vision isn't necessarily as good as it maybe used to be, You can buy large screen display kitchen scales and measuring jars, or ones that talk to you, and that might be something that you need. Chopping boards, spreading boards that hold the food in place, so things aren't slipping around when you're trying to butter, say, a piece of toast. There is nothing worse than eating cold food, and if it's taking you longer to eat food, actually a plate that helps keep your food warm might make meal times much more enjoyable, and it might as well mean that somebody gets more nutrition than they otherwise would have done. Things like non-slip trays, tray liners, non-slip table mats, again, help keep things in place if somebody's putting a bit of extra force, maybe doesn't know what they're doing. So it's going to stop things slipping around. Trolleys might make it easy for someone to move food and drink around their home. It also might help somebody to entertain, because if you're taking multiple cups of tea to somebody, a trolley means you can take more than one in one go. You can't hold those. You can buy lightweight saucepans. Another thing that can help is using lightweight wire mesh baskets. So if somebody is trying to drain vegetables, say, lifting the entire saucepan full of water and food might be quite challenging for them. But if you place a wire mesh basket within the saucepan and you lift the basket out, you are draining the vegetables. You're not carrying hot water, which could be a hazard. That might make things safer and easier. Some people find angled cutlery helpful as well. So if they're struggling with cutting, that might be another thing to try. So lots of ideas there to help with food preparation. We'll look at drinking now. And again, there are lots of things available for people to help with drinking. Some people find that holding a cup in one hand is too much on their wrists. So getting a two-handled cup can give them more accuracy and make it easier for them to drink, and also make it easier for them to hold it. If somebody has limited mobility, there are products available out there, specialist product. This is called a Hydrant, and this allows people with limited mobility to take a drink whenever they want without assistance. So that's going to reduce their chances of developing dehydration. So that's a really, really fantastic product to, again, help people be independent. We've talked a bit about trays as well. So again, making sure those trays are non-slip to reduce spillages, that can be helpful. The next thing I'm going to put on screen is a silicone jar opener. So this can help people grip and open things like bottle lids much more easily. So these again are readily available and really helpful. Hot drinks can be a problem. A lot of people who are looking after somebody, caring for somebody, find that that's quite a worry for people. So you can get things like kettle tippers. So that means that you can support the kettle on a frame, and then you use the motion of the frame to pour a drink with. So they're not having to lift anything. A hot kettle, it just pours straight into a cup that they put under it. Similarly, you can buy, they are expensive, but one touch hot cup water boiler. So this will fill exactly 1 cup of water. So again, you're not having to worry about kettle, they just have to push a button. The good thing about this as well, if you don't know how much somebody is drinking, you can fill it up in the morning and have a gauge about how much someone has drunk during the day. So that can be a helpful piece of equipment. So again, just a few more things that can help with drinking. You can buy anti-spill cups, so they reduce the risk of somebody spilling their drinks. A lot of people do not like plastic cups. It doesn't feel adult for them. You can buy two-handled china cups and saucers. I think that's really important for people to recognise. So this is about making the appearance something more appealing to people. Some people might not be able to, some people may struggle to drink from a cup. Having an angled cup might make it a bit easier. So these are things that you can purchase again from specialist shops. Weighted cups or weighted cuffs can assist people who have a tremor to maybe get their hand to their mouth to take a drink. So again, if you're it may be worth, if somebody's having these issues, seeking further advice around this, but they are things that you can buy for yourselves. Water bottles, just making sure that somebody has a water bottle available. Again, that's a way that you can monitor how much someone is drinking. Another way that you can look at that, maybe a more high-tech way, is an intelligent hydration system. So what these do is they set a reminder for people to drink that uses a familiar voice. So at regular intervals, it will remind the person to take a drink. Many people find it much easier to drink with a straw. And it's worth experimenting and trying out different straws. Not all straws work for people. So you might find that some people need a metal straw rather than a paper straw because they can crush. Plastic straws are becoming less available these days, but some people do find those helpful. So it's about finding out which ones work. If they are using straws, a straw holder, they clip onto the cup so the straw stays in place. That can be a helpful addition. And there are straws available that only have a one-way valve, which is going to help people to kind of be able to, if they have a reduced suction. And we've already talked about one-cup kettles and water dispensers, just a reminder there as well. We're now going to talk about another really key issue, is equipment to prevent falls. Just a warning here that if somebody is experiencing falls, it is worth having a GP assessment. It's really important that we get to the bottom of why those falls are happening. But there are things that are readily available in the market to help, but do make sure that you get the person assessed if someone is having falls. So there are things you can put in place like grab rails. So these can support people at key places to help them if they need to lift themselves or change level, and they can reduce the risk of a fall. We've talked about easy reach long arm grabbers. Again, this is going to stop people reaching if people need to pick things up from the floor or maybe help push down their socks or trousers. This can be something that can help them. You can buy lamps that you touch the base to turn them on rather than having to reach down for a button. And that again is going to stop people stretching or overreaching. So again, these things can be very fashionable. They are available in often home stores. They're not a specialist piece of equipment. They make a difference. Telecare alarms we talked about already. They often have a service charge in place on them. And I also want to highlight that this is the standard type of telecare alarm that you will see available. But now they are being made to look more discreet. If people are maybe choosing not to wear them, there are different watches that people can have. If you talk to your telecare provider and you find someone is reluctant because of the look of an alarm, you may find that there's a product that is more appropriate for them. So do have a conversation with them about that. You might find that an intercom system is going to reduce the urgency that someone feels to try and answer their door. So if they can talk to the person who's at the door before they answer it, that might again prevent falls. Again, this is a very old style version, and what we've seen over the last few years is lots of different types of new types of doorbell coming out that allow people to talk to people, things like your Ring doorbells. So again, these things are more available. There is a cost to them, but they might make a huge difference. So more equipment that can prevent falls. Raised toilet seats, so they're not having to change level quite as much when they are getting on off the toilet. Bed sensors. So if someone falls out of bed, this is an alarm that alerts somebody to it. That can give a lot of peace of mind to people who are looking after somebody. A big reason around falls can be sort of a recommendation when people are experiencing falls is often to look at how much they're exercising. So trying to increase the amount someone is exercising can make a difference when it comes to falls prevention. Things like hand and foot cycles mean that people can exercise while seated, gentle exercise DVDs, stretchy bands. Again, it's worth doing this with a bit of advice if they are looking at that. Walking frames or riser chairs can help. Making sure that you've got appropriate lighting, particularly outdoors. So if someone's having to do a step into their house, make sure that they can see it, particularly if they're having problems with their vision. If you are concerned about somebody falling and you need to get access to their property and you are a trusted person, you can buy key safes. So on the outside of their property, you can get access to their key if you're not a key holder. Again, only appropriate people should know the code for these key safes to just ensure security. They're a really common way that if you need to get in, that can be set up. Again, automatic lights and motion sensor lights, they can reduce the risk of falls. Some people find it helpful to put coloured tape on the edge of stairs. So that means that people have more chance of seeing the edge. And that can be really helpful for someone with vision difficulties. Sock aids. So these are pieces of equipment. I think we're going to show those in the video just shortly that can help somebody to put a sock on. And making sure that they've got appropriate equipment in their bath, things like long-handled sponges. It's important as well to look at how people get in and out of the bath and how they, and slipping. An anti-slip bath sticker is often better than getting a bath mat. So just an additional thought there. We are just going to have a quick look at medication. So you can purchase, often from the pharmacy or specialist shops, items to help people take their medication. So if someone's struggling to pop the pills out of a packet, you can buy a pill popper. So this is a little piece of equipment you can put over and it will push the pill out for you if you're struggling with the blister packs. You can buy pill organizer boxes, Dosset type boxes that you fill yourself so you know which days you need to take your medication. These aren't always recommended because if you don't have the label, it can be quite difficult sometimes to work out what someone has taken. If you put it in the wrong box, then that might mean you have issues. You can have a conversation with the pharmacist about setting these sort of systems up when they are receiving someone's prescription. So if you think someone needs this help, that may be a better way to go, but you can purchase these organizer boxes. This one's a nice one. This is a little piece of cloth that you put on the end of the stick, and this can help people put lotion on. So it's a long-handled lotion applicator that can help someone. And if someone has to put in something like eye drops and they can't squeeze the bottle, this is an eye drop dispenser. So this might be something just to give that person that little bit of extra independence that they need. And then just a few more things that are available. You might want to think about medicine reminder charts. So putting a calendar on the side with a tick box so they can tick off when they're taking their medication. It's a visual reminder, but also for the carer, you can see how they're managing as well. Memory aids, so it might be memo reminders are motion sensor triggers, pre-recorded message. You might set up something like an Alexa or a Google Nest to do a similar function to remind someone to take their pills. Mobile phones are absolutely brilliant. Everyone has these days, and just setting an alarm when someone needs to take their pills might make the difference. As you said already, smart speakers can be a really good way as well. So there are things that we have every day that everybody carries these days that can make a massive difference. There are loads more examples when it comes to things like dressing, washing, personal care, writing and reading, staying in touch with people, leisure activities. If you have a look around the Happy at Home website, they're going to give you loads more ideas. So just to finish off now, and just to show you another feature on the Staffordshire County Council website that is going to give you a few more ideas of what you can do. There are actually some videos explaining the different pieces of equipment. So there's videos on daily living equipment. There's a few here that you can read with the transcripts. I'm just going to show you today this one, which again is about dressing and washing. So Patricia is going to show you how to use some of the pieces of equipment that we've referred to today. But do have a good look around these web pages because it's going to give you lots of different ideas that you can take the people you work with and the people that you love.
Do you have problems with dressing? If you do, we've got different tools that you can use. This is called a dressing stick. You can use it to help put your shoes on. So it's like, put your foot in, and there you go. Also, there's a piece on this side which you can use to hook your trousers on or put your pants on. Also your shirts, your jumpers, cardigans, anything like that. It'll go up your sleeve as well. So that's one of the things that we use. Do you have problems with washing your back or your legs or any other part of your body? There are different equipment that you can use. This is like a long-handled sponge. Sometimes people prefer these, and then you've got another piece of equipment which is like a long handle, which is a scrunchie. So with your sponge, if you want to wash your legs, you can just put your soap on or shower gel, whatever you want to use. The other equipment which a lot of people quite like is this one, because it's a little bit softer and it doesn't splash the water so much as the sponge. And it's just really good to wash your back and wash your arms and obviously your legs, feet. You can get another one, I believe, that's got a part that you can do in between your toes as well. This is what we call a leg lifter, and if you're having problems getting into bed, you can hook it onto your foot. You've got a little hoop there, hook it around your wrist, and then it helps you get your legs into bed if you're struggling with that. And that's really good for people who've got problems with their hips and can't get into bed, and it's a good piece of equipment that's used. This is a long-handled comb that people can have, so if they've got problems with their joints, if they've got arthritis, they can just comb their hair, and you can have it a little bit shorter if you want to. This is another piece of equipment, a lotion cream applicator, that's good for if you're struggling to put cream on. It's got a little terry towel in that you put that into your cream pot, and then you can cream your legs or cream your back or your arms or anywhere that you're struggling to reach, really. This is called a helping hand, and a lot of people find these very, very useful, really easy to use. You just put your fingers on there, it's got finger grooves, squeeze it, and then it opens the clasp there, and then you can just easily pick something up off the floor, and that's it. You can put it anywhere you like to, because it sits on the arms of chairs, or if you've got frames or trolleys or anything like that, it'll just hook on there. And it's just another really good piece of equipment. If you're having difficulty getting dressed and one of the things could be putting your socks on, this piece of equipment is really good. This is what we call a stocking aid or sock aid, and for people who are struggling to put their socks on, you put your sock on the outside of that, and then you put it onto your foot, and obviously you've got your long handles as well, and then your foot's inside and you just slide it up, and then it just comes out.
So as you can see, there's loads of information there. There's lots of things available through the Staffordshire County Council website. It's really worth sitting down and having a really good explore, thinking about your own or the person you're working with needs. I hope the message from today is that there are lots of gadgets out there that you can help, and a lot of them are very inexpensive, simple pieces of equipment. So I want to thank you for listening to this presentation today. I hope you found it useful. We'd ask that you please complete an evaluation. So if you can, please email us at training@supportstaffordshire.org.uk. We can send you the evaluation form, and we will issue a certificate if you would like that once we've received your evaluation forms back. So thank you very much for your time, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of the Supportive Communities training videos.